That's a lot of people in one place to play qualifier.
Well,
that's pretty crazy.
I wouldn't mind. Money, yeah,
I wouldn't mind.
So EP looking for their last support. They feel like they... Okay, Ooh, Phoenix comes out.
Phoenix is really good here.
Yeah, that's like a nice
crazy
pick.
Good.
The one nice thing for the Tide is that they don't have that clean initiation to like lead into like a telekinesis or like a magic missile from Avenge to actually lead into that rocket barrage for Gyrocopter, but...
Right, we were on camera.
It's still a tough one.
I think it's
more,
production. I think the EP lineup to me, it's like based around Siege, right? You use the DK as a frontline hero. You have Clock for any kind of counter initiation. I think the matchup in the mid game is kind of annoying for Tidehunter because the Clockwork can isolate you if he ever spots you out, and then you kind of either sit there and don't ravage anything, and then you have to deal with Phoenix Egg, DK, potentially Gyrocopter, BKB. I actually think that EP. If the Chen doesn't do work on wings, I think their draft is way better.
Yeah. And every hero on their lineup uses fire.
That is
so.
That's the reason
that is
why.
true.
That is actually really good against. Well, Tidehunter should be good against that. He's used to water. So he's like a water Pokemon.
This feels like a hard game for Tide in general because like Clockwork's initiating in, uses all his spells. As soon as Clock goes in with the cogs, there's going to be a cooldown coming out. Phoenix is in Supernova. It doesn't feel like there's that many like good, easy Ravage targets or opportunities that's going to arise from versing those heroes.
And how does he get into fights? Like that's my question. Is that he needs Blink 100%. He probably is also the team is dedicated. Well, Chen could get a mech, I guess. But some Chens have actually in European Dota being opting out of mech and other heroes on the team buy it, and then you go something else like early medallion, like Solar Crest is really popular as well.
I mean, either him or Shadow Fiend get it. I think that there's enough mech buyers that he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time when you run this particular duo, I guess the duos we've seen the most with Chen have been Shadow Fiend and Bristle, and I think in most cases it's actually better that the core gets it because they benefit a lot from the armor, they farm it faster, and the Chen, like you said, either goes for a medallion or Solar Crest build-up, or in some cases, he wants to get Arcane Boots too. They're actually really good now after the buff in comparison. In the past, sometimes you'd get Brown Boots into mech. Or you can even, like, if you don't need Arcane Boots for the team, you get a Mango, and you just keep that with you so you can use Hand of God at any time, and then you itemize into something completely different on the Chen. Like, you could even go for a really fast
Someone
axe.
wants a Force Staff as well, because you're versing
Force Staff is,
that's probably
that would be really good too.
The one other item someone needs to be able to be at the Tide or the Chen.
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and hop in game here. Thank you guys very much for joining us during the pre-panel here. Lumi, are you ready?
I am ready. Are you? I think Clockwork is not ready because his ward just got warded in vision of the Radiant team, so she could be dewarded very quickly.
That is pretty unfortunate.
Although he's prepared because he's got double blocks. Actually, the first one doesn't even block at all. It's just a scatter.
No, it's just a vision ward, yeah. I don't even think that one blocks the large camp. No, it doesn't. There's some really weird like ward placements in the Radiant jungle. You can drop that ward like maybe a tiny bit closer and it even blocks the large spawn. It's kind of crazy.
So one thing that when I was casting with Chuan, he said if you're playing Chen, you need to make sure that 2 out of your 3 lanes are self-sustaining. Like you can't have a lane losing at the bottom, a lane losing mid, and expect your Chen to actually just make things work. Me on top lane here, Tidehunter should be okay. He's gonna get dive slow down.
Level 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, level 1 stun into a light strike array, yeah.
How did he get caught there? Did Lina just wrap behind him?
I don't know, that was a little bit odd. I feel like the level 1 dive from the Phoenix is I mean, you obviously get dive at level 1 regardless, unless you have a very easy lane, and then maybe you get spirits, but yeah, it was definitely not the start that Injuly was looking for. So Energy Pacemakers get themselves on the board with an early kill, and so far we're seeing the Phoenix kind of chilling mid, probably just blocking right now for the DK.
There you go. You know what a cool combo EP could do is you hook in, you cog, and then the dive comes in, and you dive in the middle of the cog, and you supernova there. I mean, suddenly half the team can't attack it, especially the Juggernaut who has the high attack speed. I'm not sure if that's drafted with the intention, but that's something cool that they could do. Well,
the other thing too about Phoenix against this lineup is there's only one real natural BKB buyer, and the Juggernaut, I mean, I guess you could technically hit the egg layer spinning, but I still feel like it's going to be very difficult for them to deal with that because Phoenix is not just a strong laner, but he adds the chaotic teamfight presence where you pretty much have to focus Supernova unless you want to just straight up sacrifice the engagement in general.
Chen will trade with you.
Yeah.
Well, they
Zero armor.
Well, Chen, it's not like he's.
But he doesn't buy as much regen as the Phoenix. So
that
I
is
think
true.
The Phoenix actually ends up on top here. He even got pulled at Tango, so yeah, he'll be fine with that trade.
Mid lane looks like a couple of raises are going off, and DK in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, tornado!
Long raise.
He's got bottle. I think he's okay. Or no, he's fine.
Okay. But good trade for the Shadow Fiend, especially now with the tornado just harassing that DK. Zoning him further out the lane. It's going to be important for that bottom rune, for that DK especially.
I think the matchup in mid is actually so bad for the DK in general, and plus that tornado just means that the SF from now on is just going to be totally free farming on wings. And Old Chicken, regardless of how well he plays on some heroes, DK is fairly limited, I feel, and what your player skill can actually do for you.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to see a little bit of stacking. Having that tornado creep will secure you a bit of farm. Wings going to secure... Oh, just missing it on the bottom.
That is painful, actually.
Yeah.
Not having to pull for JDH. Rubik's one of the, like, you need 6, pretty much. Like, you actually want higher than that for some value points in a null field, especially against EP's lineup. I feel like they're almost entirely magic damage based until a little bit later into the game, but...
Did he just block his own stack? I don't think he blocked it on the upper left, but looks like Tidehunter is going to get a little bit of stuck, but I don't think he'll be fine.
I mean, that was just a spite stun, right? He just wanted to use mana to use a bottle charge, be more efficient with a player.
Flame Breath would have been a little bit better if you want to do that, though.
No way, man. Level 1 Dragon Tail. Super high damage skill.
Into 2 more hits and a couple illusion hits.
That's fine. But still, I'm kind of worried. Like, Blink is getting so much in this middle lane. He's already 16 and 10. I mean, yeah, DK maybe doesn't need, like, free farm, for example, but he's got 6 CS at 2 minutes in. And the Chen really hasn't had to commit to any lane. That's a nice thing about getting the Wildkin, is instead of having to go for a full wraparound gank, like Super has been able to spend his time, majority of the time, in the woods. And the Phoenix has been messing with him a bit, but he's level 1 right now, so I don't think it's too bad.
What we're saying in the draft is that EP at least has the much stronger mid-game fight, so Wings need to do this in the early game to kind of even have a good shot in the mid-game, right? Especially with the Tidehunter giving up First Blood and not having a good time at all. He's got like 2 CS. So,
well, I think the getting 2 CS thing is what we said during the draft, is that the Gyrocopter versus Tide lane is not very good. So I'm still kind of wondering why they picked the Tide in the first place. Like, he just takes, what, 60-70% of his health and damage from one Rocket Barrage?
Juggernaut, though, dealing quite a bit back on the bottom lane. So what are you looking for this Juggernaut to do? Are you looking at to play kind of the melee gyro in the sense of a mid-game fighter? Or are we looking to build a little bit more kind of later mid-game of semi-carry?
No, I think you need mid-game for sure. But if you don't play around mid-game against EP's lineup, I think you just end up losing all your towers and potentially the game. Because Wings right now have one lane that's auto-lose, like off lane is losing.
Yeah.
Safe lane is doing okay.
Winning into jungle lane.
Yeah. You have jungle and you have mid winning pretty hard.
Yep.
So between those two, it's kind of the setup that Chuan says that he looks for, where you don't need the Chen to rotate 24/7, and he can kind of focus on his farm, especially since the Phoenix is not bothering him so much anymore. Oh, I can't believe I let him get that.
Well,
he's got dive as well.
Normally that's good.
Not against Phoenix.
Yeah, you make him lose a little bit of health. There's that.
I don't know. I don't really feel... Like, even just taking the invis, a lift can set up for a double or triple raise on the DK.
Yeah.
I think people underestimate the value of Rubik's support with SF mid. That rotation is unbelievably strong as long as your SF is on point with his raises. And he's what, like level 5 right now? Or
especially on the mid lane. If you could lift them into that crevice.
Wow, okay.
If you lift them into that crevice on the low ground, that generally almost always guarantees a kill.
Yeah.
But DK leading the farm and the denies as well. That tornado on the mid lane just essentially
won.
Wait,
DK? What are you on about?
Sorry, SF
I was going to say, what game are you watching?
17 denies. Crazy.
Oh, bottom lane. Nice rotation here. They're going to catch at the clockwork. Unfortunately, I guess the Centaur stomp missed. Or the first one did, yeah. So they weren't able to follow it up. Still, though, I mean, the Gyrocopter is still farming a little bit better than the Juggernaut. They're contesting the lane. Old Chicken going to eat a gush here. One raise. Can they connect with another? I think that was the long range. Dive in. Fire Spirit's coming out in July. On retreat here. Breathe Fire. Just for spite purposes. He's got a full bottle here, so Blink will be fine.
That's a one fight, though, for Wings, because 2 TP was drawn. And in fact, Clockwork even finishes TP, so he has to walk bottom.
I still think this SF is going to be such an issue for EP. If they can find a way to somehow kill him, the Clockwork hitting 6 is a big deal. If you compare the offlaners again, as we could see this Clockwork in some trouble. Here comes the lift. He's going to be pulled back. Exidy's there. He's got the spin. He's going to auto-attack him a few times, but again, the Centaur's not quite in range. He gets caught here. Spin's actually on cooldown. He levels up his Omni Slash, but it's not in time. Ends up dying inside of the cogs. Rest of Wings is going to be forced back.
Well, thank you for the freebie. Now he's very close to that level 6.
He hit 6 during that, right? Like the Gyrocopter, or not, the Juggernaut hit 6 during that engagement.
I think
like
so.
one of the creeps died, and then he skilled Omni Slash, maybe
but he
trying to use it.
Couldn't get off in time. Has a... Well, I don't think his cast animation even went off. So...
Yeah, that was
unfortunate.
That was really bad, because that gave Clockwork the level 6. I mean, he's got 21 CS right now. Tidehunter has 8, and Tidehunter is also 2 levels behind. So EP have all the makings of being able to gank this SF now. Just getting that level 6 up on the Clockwork, I feel, is really huge for them.
So, if you're playing on EP side, let's say you have like a jungle stack or two. Do you say, all right, Tidehunter, you're really far behind. You take it to catch up, or do you say, you know, SF is our kind of mid-game bread and butter. He probably is going to buy early mech or early BKB. Hold that thought. Here comes a gank. I don't think they're going to die here. Yeah, old chicken's going to be fine. Here comes that Clockwork Hook, but the first hook is not really going on the SF. Not even sure whether they're going to get the kill. Tidehunter forced to run towards the tower. Will die to a Dragon Slave. TP incoming from Gyro as well. Call down will not hit, or at least not the second one. Super should run to the tower. One raise will wear them away. I'll say will hit, so will Dragon Slave, but very tanky is that Shadow Fiend. Got 13 one charge, and he is going to be going for the mech.
Yeah, I like the mech build. I think you always want to give the stacks to the SF, by the way. I mean, having a blink on the Tidehunter would be great, but I think if the SF gets like mech BKB, EP will have a very, very hard time killing him in the mid game, just because Gyro, DK, Clockwork, like all these heroes, even as carries, can be mostly comprised of magical damage output during the mid game. So I'm wondering...
Well, Chen's taking this.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to go for something else too, that's fine. Like if he wants his Arcanes, as Sin spoke about earlier, just to be able to have more sustain during your push, I think that's okay. But
I mean, I'm okay with SF and Chen taking the goal, but I think that the Tai needs to be there for the experience. Because, for example, if Tai had 6 in that mid fight, would have been a different story. He is getting, again, a little bit of experience up top, but, you know, I think Fan, even under the tower, could just phase in and just zone him out.
It is possible, sure. But I think the worry is there could be TP reaction. Like, the Clockwork is still kind of playing off map at the moment, so it's an inherent risk to try to go for anything super crazy. And there's no vision right now on bottom lane.
Oh, Omni Slash is available, but looks
nice
like
cogs.
Yeah.
Now it looks like they're going for a loop around here on top lane. They're going to find Injuly again. Fan eating some tower shots. Could drop here. One more hit will be able to secure the kill on him. And now Dragon Tail under the tower. JDH going to be dropping here as well. Fire Spirit damage ends up getting that kill. So 2 now going the way of EP, and they're pressuring the tier 1.
Now that tier 1's going down. Dragon form is going to easily seal the deal there. So EP finding, I don't want to say free because they did lose Gyro, but I think they're okay with that trade.
Oh, for sure. I mean, losing the Gyro is not really as big of a deal when you consider they get a tower, and the first Dragon form doing something, that's also a huge deal.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you use it, and like SF, Blink is one of those heroes that you don't actually leave your lane too often. Oh, he's caught out here inside of the cogs. The Omni Slash is available. XDD goes in. That's going to be a free kill. Teleport reaction coming in. It's going to be Fan. He gets a Rocket Barrage off, but Spin is available, so XDD is just out of here.
All right, so I'm going to say this is the timing they're looking for, right? You got the mech almost finished, you got the Chen crease, but looks like it's going to be difficult to push against a team that has Dragon Slave, LSA, Fiery Birds, Rockets, Call Down. Fiery Souls, I think it's called. No, that's Lena's passive.
Fire Spirits, yeah.
Okay, Fiery Birds is...
Fiery Birds sounded funny, that's all. But I do agree that their timing is maybe a little bit stronger than EP we're even looking at. It's so early on, and the DK is still less than half of the CS of the Shadow Fiend. I mean, heck, Blink has been able to keep up the deny level in terms of what that old chicken has in creep kills. So that's a little bit concerning for EP, but don't underestimate how good their lineup is with just the sheer leveling. So having the Clockwork Hook, having the call down. We haven't seen everything used in conjunction yet, so I'm kind of reserving my judgment until I see some really big fights break out.
I'm not sure Wings what they could even push in the first place. Like, you got the timing, but I don't think you could push it into the AoE, so I don't think Wings should try, but we'll see. I'm not sure how you feel about whether they should go try to at least lock down the mid T1 tower.
Having a really early mech, they probably could push in with the Chen, because the tower is really low right now. I think it's at like 30% health, maybe a little bit less. Okay, it's way less. It's almost in deny range, so I think they could potentially secure it. I'm not sure how heavily EP would commit to that fight, because Tidehunter has Ravage, and I think that when you're pushing into a tower, you don't necessarily need the blink on the Tide because EP will come to you.
Yeah.
Like the Clockwork will hook in, you'll see the call down come out, and the team will commit to the fight. So maybe EP don't look to defend. Instead, they try to go for a gank at XCD. That's going to be a Fog, Dragon Tail into a stun and a Slave. Hook shot to follow up the stun lock, and XDD goes down.
Yeah, perfectly played. So I'm really impressed with Ofan's play, right? Even though he's lost the mid lane, completely making it work, at least on the ganking path. But here comes Wings. They will have that Ravage available, but looks like Lena's going to break that smoke. If Lena dies here, I think EP is fine with it if they don't lose anybody else. And it looks like Lena will go down for sure. Recognize out, and looks like Clock's going to just walk away.
Still a really nice trade. Like trading the Lena for a Juggernaut at this stage. I really like the fact that Angelai didn't use the Ravage for a solo kill. I feel like that would have been a huge mistake when you have a Chen on your team and you can push the towers. You want to wait for a better opportunity because now Wings can look to counter pressure to the tier 1.
Is that an early pipe or Vlad's on the Chen, you think?
It might be a pipe against this team.
Ooh, what a lift.
Of the cogs. See you later.
Yeah.
Super picks up that kill. They do manage to deny the tier 1 mid, so Old Chicken's getting a little bit of work done, even though he can't contribute to the fight at top. Gonna see Fan go for the TP out, Omni Slash not used here by XTD.
I wonder if they had Glyph. You would Glyph at bottom T1, deny the mid, and Glyph again. That would be pretty sick, but this tower is destined to go down. Let's see if they can actually get off a deny. They'll try, and he will get it.
What? Okay, that was insane. He timed his auto attack between like 3 different members of Wings.
Anytime I see that happens, I just feel like the pushing team is just a little bit lazy because you could easily prevent that. Just Tidehunter just need to walk in and they'll back off.
I don't know, maybe he was feeling a little bit scared. I guess maybe he didn't know that Fan TP'd back to base. With that knowledge, I think you definitely run into him, like 100% of the time. Old Chicken's got an invis here.
What a stack.
That Dragon Tail. Yeah, the stack efficiency as well. Very nicely done. Oh, he's got invis and DD. They could even kill XDD here if he goes around. Yeah, he's going to have Dragon Form too.
He spun.
He has TP though. Is he going to use it? Oh, I think he's too fast actually. Yeah, he's got drum speed.
Well.
Oh, he didn't see it. It was nighttime.
Okay, okay.
But he needs follow-up. No one is even near him right now. He needs the gyrocopter 100%.
Well, he's stalking him right now. But here comes the Radiant support. Hand of God is online, so you got to factor that in mind. Maybe you could go for the Chen kill? Oh, they see each other. Here we go. It's going to be Polygon coming in. Ravage going to come out. Hand of God will be used, and it's going to be Fan taking a ton of damage in return. The mech's going to come through on the other side, and Old Chicken is running to the left. Fiery Birds are coming in, so will the Hook, and a actually really good Supernova in the background. Laguna is going to drop. Looks like the Juggernaut is dead automatically, and Wings really overcommitting after that Ravage. Tidehunter forced to retreat as well. I think he will die. Rubik doing a little bit of help here. They might actually pick up Leon. No, they won't. It's going to be 4 dead at the end of the fight. Could be 5 because Shen's being stalked as well. Nice push to the left. They're still chasing him, and they will finish the Rubik. So 4-for-1 exchange after using the Ravage.
I think they, like you said, they overcommitted for sure. Like they Ravage there, the Flare comes out, not enough damage to kill Super. He's got a Ring of Health and a Headdress, so the regen is more than enough to keep him in fighting shape.
Yeah, so pipe.
Yeah, we're going to get a chance to watch this again, too. At the beginning of the fight, I think maybe the Shadow Fiend even prematurely popped mech, because XCD takes a lot of damage here. I think he was just worried that he was going to go down. Like, Super pops Hand of God, heals 1 person,
no,
and
Angelai got healed, too.
The mech. Okay, so Angelai got a little bit of health from that.
Yeah.
Even that difference, like, I think both of those were used way too early. The hook shot's even way off, but it does kind of block the retreat, I guess, of Wings, and it forces them to fight into EP, where the Phoenix Egg does a little bit of damage, Blink ends up clicking it down, but by that time, you've committed your Shadow Fiend. Or no, excuse me, it went off, actually. He didn't even kill it.
Yeah, well,
his auto attack was mid-air.
Exactly. Could have actually killed it, and...
God. Okay, so that's actually the difference maker. The fact that they used the mech and maybe the Chen heal a little bit too early, and they didn't kill the Phoenix Egg, so
yep.
Unfortunate.
I mean, I think I was pointing out earlier, the Clockwork cogs plus the eggs is just so much crowd control. And that was a perfect display of it, cutting off the retreat path, and then on the far end you have the Phoenix.
I'm not sold he meant to do that, actually.
The cutting off retreat path?
I think he was trying to go for somebody in the back, like maybe the Rubik or the Chen.
Either case, I think just having cogs in the fight, that also render Chen's creeps, like it makes them like run around things, and
yeah.
Cogs OP, I think.
You can see the aggressive warding coming out from EP right now. They're really just looking to find those ganks. 3 wards behind even a tier 1 tower right now and in the woods, and of course towards that top lane. But we talked about the mid-game potential of Energy Pacemaker, and they're kind of showing right now. I think Wings could definitely still, like, they can push in, but they have to be very precise about using their mech timing, their Hand of God, and even having the pipe up on Super will make a massive difference in these engagements.
Alright, let's quickly look at some item progression here. I'm very curious on what Gyrocopter is working with. Drums, and I imagine BKB's got to be the next item. Maybe he'll get Yasha first for a little bit of extra farming, but you kind of want that early BKB against the Requiems, the Ravage. Any items that's kind of strange to you, Andy, or it's...
It's looking pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the Chen pipe? Because it's not exactly something we see, at least this early into the game.
It did get buffed. I mean, look at Energy Pacemaker's team, right? Like, even being able to block the Phoenix damage alone is a huge deal. So you get the 400 damage buffer. You have 10% magic resist on top of Null Field. We're going to see a smoke up here.
It's scouted. Because they have
it was scouted, behind the tier 1.
They did draw a line into the Roshan pit, which I think actually will catch EP by surprise.
They're still backing up, though, because you would still run to Roshan in the situation if you thought it was going to be there.
Well,
like,
no,
you wouldn't just sit inside of your woods.
Oh, they are running to Roshan. They will smoke up and try to go to Roshan themselves. They won't find anybody. Well, yeah, okay.
That's a little bit painful for Wings. More so than for Energy Pacemaker. Like, yeah, they waste a smoke, but their team composition, I feel, functions better during the mid-late game than what Wings have. So the smoke dodge, I think, benefits EP in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the pipe on the Chen really allows them to push these towers, which previously your creep will just die. Your Chen creep will just die. Now I'll let them survive a little bit longer. EP will use the end of that smoke. Looks like Wings is going to try to get a tier 1, just tier 1 trade.
Old Chicken isn't committing his ulti to this, so they can actually go tier 2. I think Wings will be the one who have to react. The tier 1 dies first in their favor.
Yep.
And this tower still has a lot of health, so again, Energy Pacemaker with the nice moves.
Dire still has
bottom though.
Dire still have Glyph. I think they should try for a tier 2 mid.
I think getting the bottom tower might be a little bit better than the tier 2 mid, just because it gives you full control of the woods, right?
Yeah, I
like
guess.
Getting the tier 2 mid, you still have to worry about the tier 1 bottom when you're trying to go for smokes, and maybe getting revealed a little bit early because of support positioning. So I do think that going for the tier 1 safe lane is the right call here.
Well, it's now going to be Wings that's pressuring tier 2, and they're a lot better at pushing, so here we go. Clockwork is the first one to TP in. Nobody really in position yet. They also got the Ogre creep, which I think is a pretty big deal in the mid game. Having that free frost armor.
What is it, 8 armor, right?
Is it 8?
Yeah, 8 armor and reduces attack and moves.
I mean, there's not a lot of physical damage at this point from EP, but every little bit helps.
It's still a nuisance, especially if you're trying to chase down. You throw out an auto attack. Maybe you can't close distance anymore to try to get a spell off. It can definitely be the difference maker here. And this Lina potentially... No, never mind. XDD is not coming towards here. Looks like LT will be more than fine. And the headdress is now finished. Tide has Blink, so this is a very strong timing for Wings. Maybe he wants to get the full pipe before they decide to start trying to pressure any tier 2s or fighting around Roshan. I feel like that buff in of itself is a huge thing for Wings, and it cannot be undervalued in the situation. And SF is even getting closer to his BKB.
Yeah, I think you wait for the BKB. The pipe might not be that important, but the BKB definitely is.
Oh, I disagree. I think the pipe might even be more important than the BKB. Like, sure, if the Clockwork hits the Shadow Fiend with a hook, you could be in some trouble, but
that's true.
You still have Mech, you have Hand of God. There's no AA or anything on EP, so they have no way to counteract the heal. So you could probably still keep him alive, and there's a potential for the Jug to just Omni the Clockwork when he goes in if he's way too far out of position. So.
I guess with pipe you essentially take out like the Lina and the Phoenix from the fight, essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they could just wait for both.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're going to do, for sure.
Yeah,
they're going to wait for both. Because they were around the same amount of gold away. Maybe the Chen was a bit closer to the pipe than SF is to Mech right now. But either way, like having both of those. It's kind of a scary point for Wings too, though, because once you have your full item progression, your team composition, it gets a little bit stronger through farm, but these are the absolute core items that make your team, I think, for the cost, the most effective they can possibly be. So if they don't get something big from getting these items out, I think EP will kind of just run away with the game.
You think so? I think Wings actually have very strong late game potential as well. I mean, Chen's to me one of the strong. Again, this word scouts yet another.
That is some
smoke.
serious value.
Yeah, they're now gonna at least. Well, Ty's leading really far ahead. I'm not sure whether he should be that far ahead, but here comes the Juggernaut and the rest of the team. EP will dodge for now. The Rocket, I'm not sure whether it will give away their position. Looks like not. Scouting out the Roche. Nothing yet. And Lina gets caught. That shouldn't have happened.
Well, they didn't see him in the Roshan pit, so maybe he assumed they were still behind the river. Because if they think 2 times in a row that they're smoking for Roche, then the obvious pathing would be to go just directly there, right? Like if you smoke in, you go for it straight away, and then you try to kill it as fast as humanly possible. But that not the case.
Yep. And it will cost them at least a lot of damage on that T2. Ward's already dropped down here. And these Chain Creeps going to work.
Phoenix is in such a nice position, though. I think if he can dive in, kill the healing ward, and get some good fire spirits out, we could see a huge fight break out here.
We'll see Flat Cannon working on these Chain Creeps. Mech and Hand of God still on the reserve. And they'll back off. I don't think they have pipe yet, so they don't want to force too much of anything.
It's a safe call, for sure. The pipe is now finished up on Super, though. He just got it on the Courier. So they'll be able to take an engagement, I think, and feel relatively comfortable so long as everyone uses their abilities properly. I'm not sure on the Ravage, though. Like, I don't know if that ability does anything unless they immediately kill a hero off of it. I feel like this is the kind of team composition that if your ulti doesn't get a kill, it's automatically a waste. Like, not even just like stopping people from pursuing you is not enough. You need to actually kill inside of the Ravage stun.
I feel that Ravage could be used offensively this game as well. I mean, if Clockwork Hook gets a cog on a hero, let's say a hero that doesn't have BKB, your Titan could look in and just cut off their advancement path, and then you deal with the clock, you get off your Mecha Hand of God, and then... I mean, I'm not sure how much offensive capability it will have once the BKBs are coming online for EP anyways.
Well, that's kind of what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Because once they get BKBs, you Ravage, and it's like, if I don't kill him in the stun, they BKB, and then we have no damage.
Yes.
This SF has gone for Mech BKB, which is, obviously, it's a good build, because you can apply a lot of early game pressure with it, but it does come with its inherent problems as against heroes like DK, who will have his BKB soon, like Old Chicken's farming very well. He's even second highest on net worth, given the fact that he was getting completely dominated by Blink mid. It's just tough, you know?
They have quite the burst, though. I mean, Requiem plus Omni Slash should be enough to actually get a kill, especially if they drop a Penitence on top. Clockwork on the side. They see the Tidehunter, will rock it.
Is he going to go for the hook here? No. I think the rest of his team is maybe a bit too far.
I don't think they could go into this.
Well, DK just finished his BKB. I think they want to go in.
Okay. Here we go. DK is going to come in. Dragon. He actually kills the Healing Ward. I would say he's going to miss. Double BKB is going to get activated. But look at Fan. He's losing a ton of health as a result. The egg will be used. It looks like it's going to be retreat for Wings. Hand of God as well as Pipe has been activated. I'm not sure about the mech though. So everything is down except the Ravage. I think Wings now will re-push.
Definitely. You baited out 2 10-second BKBs?
Yep.
Or maybe that was 9 from the gyro. The DK definitely just finished his. Okay, so it was 2 10 seconds. And now, like you said, nothing up. Wings feeling fairly confident. Just having the pipe to walk away was actually huge.
Yeah.
Like, no one took any damage at all during that Phoenix ulti, and they get out full HP,
Do you rosh
get the
now?
tier 2 tower.
Yep.
Roshing, I think, is actually the right call, if
Yeah.
they can. We're going to get a chance to watch this one more time. Like you mentioned, Old Chicken killing the Healing Ward immediately. He eats a good amount of damage from the Omni Slash, and even though the cooldown, it manages to land on 2. The pipe timing was perfect from Super. JDH took almost 0 damage during that engagement. He gets Hand of God back up. The rest of Wings just back off, and the egg pops, and nothing really happens from either team.
You know, the other thing that we didn't really talk about is that as this game progresses on no field, it's going to be a no field plus pipe.
Yeah.
I mean, your backlines and ports are not nuking for anything. It's still very far away for the Rubik because he's low level. Do you actually consider leveling it now, starting level 8?
I think a lot of Rubik players do that. They start leveling it before getting the max level of lift.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly the repositioning that you're looking for. It's just that level 1 lift is such a short stun that sometimes adding an extra point to it can make it feel, I guess, a better opener.
It does increase your cast range, allowing you to get off a better target, but
Yeah.
I don't think...
25 cast range is like,
yeah, whatever. And he's probably going to go for a dagger soon. I am surprised by the no Roche, though. I felt like with the Ravage up and the BKBs are down, they could have at least taken a crack at it.
I can understand wanting it to play safe too, because they just showcased, even if EP pop everything, they still have the opportunity to just disengage from the fight if they choose. So for whatever reason, if EP decide to go for a Roshan fight themselves, I think Wings right now, they have Requiem, they have Tide Ravage. Fighting it in a closed space could be just as good for Wings as it could be for EP, because you also have to assume that Mech is going to be hitting pretty much everyone and Pipe on top of that.
Yeah.
So your 5-man is going to be disgusting.
So I'm very curious on the Clockwork's item choice. He's got a Glove of Haste.
Midas?
Kind of well, I mean, if you're going for Midas, then you're saying, all right.
No, I was kidding, because the other day we saw Clockwork 2 games in a row by Midas, but obviously I think he's going Treads.
You know where I stand on this, right?
Stand on what?
On whether he should upgrade to Treads or Midas.
You want him to get the Midas?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Because you think the game will end up going long because Wings doesn't have very good high ground.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they do have okay high ground, but
No, they do. They do with the Pipe and Mech.
their team needs to be leading, I think, from a wider margin to even think about going high ground, or they need a good team fight to push off of, or Roshan. Like
Or,
those are the
or
factors.
Aegis, yeah. Well, they're going to get this T2 tower, I think. Unless EP gets a really good combo, I don't think they should be able to defend it.
Okay, well,
They'll
tower
slow it
under
down, though.
siege. Tide even has 4 staff now, so in July, if he wants to go in, he does have a retreat mechanism, and he can also get himself out of cogs if he does get hookshot.
The mech is finished, and here comes the hook. It's on the TIE Hunter. He'll get 4 staff out, and the X on the back line. Are they going to focus it? Yes, they will. Phoenix is dead. BKB are used, and TIE Hunter still looking for that Ravage. He will jump in soon. I think Old Chicken. Oh no, Old Chicken. Actually, they're blowing everything. The mech and Hand of God will be used. Now, again, once again, everything is down on EP. They still have the Ravage, but they're going to play it safe. They're retreating.
Wings also popped all of their consumables as well, though. So the Healing Ward was used. They had Hand of God, they mech'd, they piped. It was pretty much everything that they had available. Now with the Phoenix dead, feeling a bit more content to try to go for Roshan now. A couple of abilities going to be off cooldown here from EP. Most importantly, the Supernova from Phoenix. It's amazing in Roshan Pit. If you can get like a high ground egg,
Yeah.
if you time your dive properly, it can be, it's just insane to deal with. So I'm not really sure about that engagement from EP though. Maybe he didn't scout out the 4-staff on July, because obviously if you see that, you don't initiate on the Tide like right away.
Yes.
And maybe even defending a tier 2 in general against what Wings have, might have been more than they bargained for.
Yeah, right now EP just don't have the damage necessary to pierce through everything of Wings. And something that you alluded to earlier is that you think EP has a superior late game.
I do. I do think the late game is a little bit better, but I also thought that their mid game would be going better as well. Wings are kind of just bullying them at this point.
Yeah.
They're walking into towers, they're taking them without any real commitment. Even seems like XDD has opted to go for more of a late game option as well with the Battle Fury, something that we've seen a few times here in the Chinese qualifiers. But I don't know if EP are feeling confident in the fact that they can defend their high ground, but that is the ultimate test for Wings lineup.
Yep. I think they're forced to defend their high ground soon because I believe the next tier 2 tower will be removed on the top lane. I'm standing actually with Wings when it comes to late game because double Ravage, sure you have 3 BKB cores, but eventually your BKB timer is already winding down fairly quickly. We could see that because of the mech, because of the pipe, these fights get to drag out fairly long. And you will actually get off 1 and maybe even 2 Ravages, so double Ravage in the late game is pretty much a game winner for me.
And I guess too with the Battle Fury Jug, you also have the
farm and
the farming ability, the split push ability, and it's pretty difficult for EP to gank him, even in a solo capacity. They kind of need the DK to have a Shadow Blade or something if they want a shot at killing him, because even a Clockwork Hook doesn't really kill Jug if you have to use that to get in, because then he can just spin and TP. So you need another form of initiation that will catch him off guard. But Wings now with
they're
the
just
healing
going
down. Yeah, they're just going to go high ground. EP will defend this though, they pretty much have to.
Yeah. Well, do you just drop a call down and be like, hey, get off? And it looks like they'll back off for now. They don't have too many chain creeps too, I think.
Without healing ward, I think what Wings want to go for here is just, they're counter pressuring lanes right now with the Chen creeps. They might bring him back up there, I'm not entirely sure, but XCD is already gone.
Yeah, they're backing off.
I think just being able to push EP all over the map is helping Wings tremendously. They're just walking down to lane as 5, forcing EP back into their base, and then they just immediately retreat and go farm every single lane.
Yep. EP needs to get something out of this smoke because they know Juggernaut just TP'd out. If they could find a big fight here without the Jug. Did they see the Shadow Fiend? I don't think they had vision, yeah.
No, definitely not. Most of their aggressive wards by now are pretty much gone. Actually, all of their wards now are defensive. There's, I think, 1 in middle lane on the high ground.
Tidehunter should be spotted. Clockwork is on the left of them, I believe, and they will actually see him. Can actually blink away.
No!
He forced staffed the wrong direction. In July, will be fine. Hand of God. Well, actually stolen. I think that was a stolen hook. I'm not sure.
No, that's battery.
Right, yeah, okay.
That was a really unfortunate force staff.
Do you do something off of this? 40 seconds? No, he's still stacking back
40
up,
seconds isn't enough, I don't think. Like, the Tidehunter can be alive and TP to a tier 2 and be at the Roshan pit even in time. I don't think your team kills Roshan very fast at all. Or, excuse me, Roshan is dead.
Yeah.
But
so, what's the turning point for EP? Because obviously, we're feeling that they're losing this mid game. Is there any big item that they're looking for? Maybe a level 16 DK with AC will turn the tide? Or is it we just need Gyro to be at like 5 solid?
I think level 16 DK is kind of important. But the Gyro built drums, right? So he's going for more of a tanky build. He even has a Sange and then a BKB. So Fan's physical damage output is pretty low at this point. And I think having the mech on Wings, like all the healing that they have, it's going to take a long time for this hero to actually start carrying in a physical damage sense. So maybe you even need like 1 or 2 extra items on your heroes of EP, even the Dragon Knight and the Gyrocopter combined. Because at this point, I'm kind of leaning more towards your side that Wings, because they're controlling the map so much, that they just have the opportunity to farm more. And you can see that reflected in the net worth is the SF is #1, and even though the DK and the Gyro are ahead of the Jug, I'd say his potential for team fights might be a bit higher, just because of how Omni is still pretty good against their heroes.
Especially when you don't have that much defensive capability. They have the mech to actually keep things alive. Lina, well, actually nice cutting through the trees, but might actually die as a result. Force staff not helping them out. Well,
that hurts.
Yeah, could be another high ground attempt. No, they'll back off.
So the way that Wings have been playing this is impressive to me, because a lot of teams might feel pressured to just try to go high ground because you have this lineup, right? You have your Chen, you have your Tidehunter, who arguably does scale very well into the late game, but they're just making it so EP can't be anywhere.
Yeah.
They're always finding like a pick, they're always 5-manning to force EP's reaction.
And more importantly, they're not getting picked. Has this Clockwork picked anybody?
I think he killed the Tidehunter. But
it was a mid-game fight, or mid-lane fight, right?
No. I mean by the Ancients, like when he hook shot to secure the kill. But so far, yeah, the Clockwork had a significantly easier lane than In July as well. Like In July was sitting up there like 8 CS when the Clockwork had 20 and like level 6, and In July was level 4.
Oh. We're running into each other, but...
Yeah, I mean, he has Invis, so... no big deal. More SOIs coming out.
Yeah, what would happen in a kind of alternate universe where if EP was doing much better, you would have seen a lot of kind of two-man smoke gank between Lina and Clockwork, right? One goes in to initiate, set up stuns. I think that's what they did on the bottom lane against the Juggernaut with a quick pick.
Well, they got a fog stun from the DK. Like,
Yeah.
he popped Dragon Form and caught him, and XD was standing right next to the tree line. So that was a really nice setup, but I do agree that that combination pretty much kills
Anybody.
well, in an early game situation, yeah, it kills pretty much anybody. Maybe not now that everyone on Wings is starting to get a little bit more farm, but I do feel XDD, if he's left to his own devices, he can carry this in the late game.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact this Battle Fury is going to accelerate his farm so much. Also, the improved Battle Fury lets you save the inventory slot that a Quelling Blade would otherwise take up. So he doesn't have to worry about that when he's farming in the jungle, or maybe even farming EP's jungle if they're playing aggressive and forcing them out.
EP, in my opinion, a little bit of trouble now. They got the SMY, which is more kind of mid-game item, but obviously can disassemble for a late game Manta if necessary. I don't think Manta is actually good here at all. Just too much AoE.
I'm actually not a huge fan of Manta in general, unless you're buying it against a team that has like a Silencer or like an Orchid or something. Like, those are the two things that or maybe even Puck, that I would buy Manta against. I just think that the item doesn't really offer a lot for the cost. Like, you're buying an Ultimate Orb and a Recipe for some illusions and a spell, which you can get from other places. So I'm not entirely a huge fan of it.
Well, EP is doing a little bit of 5-man farming in the bottom lane, because kind of have to actually back up that gyro.
It's surprising to me that Wings are still able to get so much given the situation. Like, even XDD is farming their woods right now. They got...
I mean, they should be getting a lot, right?
Yeah, but the SF is farming top. It's just showing that they're outmaneuvering their opponents, because at this point, the entirety of EP are sitting bottom lane. They're being forced to TP back again. So they're going to be spending more time... I mean, yeah, you'll get the wave that's being pushed into your base, but they've only farmed their jungle like one clear, maybe, in the last couple of minutes, whereas Wings are always clearing the jungle or EP's jungle.
Yeah.
I mean, playing a slow farming game, sure, in a lot of cases you might say that EP has very strong late game, but if you're not farming as fast as the enemy team, your item accumulation is just going to eventually overpower EP, and they might be able to go high ground off the next Roshan.
I'm a fan of this Manta on Juggernaut. Not only does your illusions benefit from crits, you can somehow actually get off cogs if you kind of go into a corner and you Manta out.
Yeah.
Again, not really a big part of it, but yeah, extra attack speed is nice. He's had that Yasha for a while as well.
I think even being able to you can dispel the cooldown slow, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So.
Well, I guess you have to do it after the second cooldown, because.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I mean, the cooldown slows through BKB.
Yes.
So if you have it for that, I mean, it's still like little things like that can matter in some select situations. Or if you're super pro, you can just Manta dodge a Laguna Blade, no big deal.
Actually, being able to Manta out of a DK slow is going to be relevant as well.
Yeah, you don't want to get kited by old chicken here. He is level 16. And he's going for the AC, which I think is really solid. Awesome against the Shadow Fiend. Almost completely offsets presence of the Dark Lord. Pretty standard item on DK, but it does have its merits here.
Yeah, I think Clockwork should be looking for Aghanims and a Vlad's. Not perhaps necessary in that order. Looks like he's going to go for a BKB, which is also needed because of the Tidehunter.
Does he actually need BKB? I think it might be Ags.
Then you open up a point booster, right?
Well, Ogre Club might be cheaper, and at that time he might have needed buyback, or maybe he still wants to save for buyback. Because Roshan is probably going to be the next point of contention. It's up soonish, I think. Yeah, so like...
I personally like Ags more because it gives him the late game that he needs. But these Chinese teams in general love to go triple BKB core. I mean, again, there's a Tidehunter you're going up against.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying the Aghanims for me. So say you have a team fight scenario where usually the way that Energy Pacemaker play it is they go in with Clock, and then the Phoenix goes in at the same time. And then the Phoenix obviously pops Supernova, and then everyone focuses the egg instead of the Clockwork.
Right.
Like, that's usually the order of targeting. So I'm wondering if he needs BKB to stay alive in that situation when he's never really the first one that's getting focused down.
Yeah. And generally, like, once the Clockwork throws out his spells, you can just ignore him for the most part, if the fight is not around him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has Battery Assault, but having a 10-second hook allows him to kind of re-engage and help out his teammates.
It could be something, too, that we haven't even thought about. He could just be going for, like, some Halberd or something like that for the later game.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah, BKB is kind of ticked down. I mean, Juggernaut, once he's already used his Omni, he's not really, like... Some Juggernauts build late game BKB, but I think it's also more dependent on what build you go. I'm not sure if the Manta-style Juggernaut buys a BKB. Maybe he just goes for Bash or Butterfly or something instead.
Actually, late game triple Halberd.
Yeah, it's really good
Yeah.
against melee cores or even Shadow Fiend. Like, the SF will eventually get damage. At this point, he doesn't really hit that hard. He's opted for SNF, or SNY. But even with that, it's like 234 damage a hit. Not too bad.
Yeah, I think EP is still in it when it comes to late game, but I just want to kind of re-emphasize the point that you're making that, yeah, sure, if they get the gold, they're definitely in it, but are they going to get the same amount of gold that Wings is getting? And the answer is, at least for the past 5 minutes, Wings has been outfarming them quite significantly.
We'll see if EP can make something happen here to force Wings maybe in a more defensive posture.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure right now. I mean, they do have a ward in the jungle, so they could look for... Do they have any smokes at the moment? That's the big question, because I think they might be saving one for Roshan. It's pretty common. Okay, they have 2, so they can definitely use 1 for a gank, and then they can just go in for...
I'm okay with what they're doing as well right now, using that ward to allow them to farm the enemy jungle, instead of just sitting in their base and doing absolutely nothing.
I mean, you mean for Wings?
No, for EP.
Oh,
EP is like farming on the bottom lane, farming some jungle. They're actually getting out of the map, despite the fact that they don't have as powerful of a mid-game lineup as Wings at this point. Wings looking for something.
And they're going to go in from behind here.
Uh-oh, this could be really bad.
The first one they're going to run into could potentially be Clockwork, which not necessarily the best target. They do get 1 offensive ward down.
And that ward sees the entire... Actually, no, that's not their ward.
Oh, he dropped it in a sentry. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see you later.
Well, EP TPing back again.
AC not finished in the Dragon Knight. I mean, Roshan spawning soon. Is it really the best call to go for this push now? I mean, yeah, keeping EP in the base is a good choice. I do agree with that.
For me, it's really pretty much free. You still have the mech, you still have the pipe. If fight gets, you know, a little bit dangerous.
They're backing up. I mean, Roshan spawning in 3 seconds. Did they send a Chen creep in here to scout? I think that's... Yep, here we go.
And meanwhile, Juggernaut conveniently pushing out the bottom lane with his Battle Fairy.
They know. But I don't think EP used a smoke yet, so if they want to, they can go in because they have that aggressive ward. So if they want to go for some kind of 5-man pressure and force Wings back to try to get a better posturing for Roshan, they can do that. And at the moment, Wings have no smokes, unless somebody's carrying one. I don't think they are, though.
Wait, you're saying Wings go for the Roche or EP?
No, I'm saying EP go for a smoke and then try to force Wings back. Because if they get Roshan right now, I think Wings are in maybe too good of a position.
Well, Wings are going to the Roche despite having to deal with the fact that the Phoenix Egg on the high ground is going to be a big deal, like you said earlier. But Roshan could be dropping very fast. Here comes a rocket to scout things out.
It's way too fast. They're not even close to being in position for this.
Well, that will make things difficult for the next fight then, because now Aegis will be end up on the Shadow Fiend. I'm not sure whether he even needed it, to be honest. And Juggernaut...
Well, he's the one hitting the tower. I think you do want to put it on him.
Fair.
Like, Juggernaut, he can walk up there and hit, but he's melee. So there is a potential for, like, a hook shot, and then the Clockwork walks forward and blocks the entire
Cogs him
ramp.
in.
Yeah, it's way, way too risky, I think, for XDD even to try to go for that. But Blink, on the other hand, he can do it just fine.
Where's that refresher we're at? We're pretty close, missing about, let's say, 1,000, 1,200-ish.
Well, he only has a Ring of Health. He needs to finish an entire Perseverance. So it's more like 2,500 or something like that, yeah. He's quite a ways away.
Ooh, time to look for that the Rock Golem, man.
That's sustain.
Oh, Rock Golems, no!
Their Ancients are actually dead, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, but it's not a gigantic deal, I don't think. Well, it is 15% health. Maybe
15%, man.
Yeah, okay, it's actually a pretty big deal. Now the question is SF going for the Scotty? I mean, he pretty much is going Scotty.
Yeah.
There's nothing really else that you can buy besides Hex, and I don't think he needs it.
I mean, I don't think Manta's bad either.
He could disassemble, actually.
Yeah.
He has SMY. But then he would have to, what, make this Ange into, like, maybe sell... Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
we
know.
We're just theory crafting Scriff, relax. Everything's okay. Sometimes we like to have fun. We enjoy Dota.
Right, so this one, you know, they could buff this creep by having it allowed to cast, was it Frenzy? Yeah, on your allies. Would that be TOP? That seems TOP.
75 attack speed for 8 seconds seems pretty imba.
No, but you make it take more damage, like it's like a mom.
Yeah, but it's the
mini
worst
mom
version, right?
Yeah, but you get it for free.
You don't get it for free. You get it for 4,200 gold.
Well, you don't get Axe and be like, oh, Frenzy, that's why we're getting Axe for. But I'm saying you could give that creep a little bit more useful of ability.
No, I don't disagree. I think it would be kind of cool to see more stuff like that. But I also think Chen is kind of really good already.
Sure.
It's very uncommon like in European Dota and NA Dota, Chen is picked all the time.
Yeah.
So,
well,
they do get their hands on their.
That's the game winner creep.
All right.
Ancient Rocco.
Hopefully the lag dissipates. Nothing like watching game-deciding fights at like 1 FPS or maybe less.
I am okay watching farming in 1 FPS because...
Yeah, of course. Leaves us more time to theory craft about stuff. Yeah. And speaking of Fan, he's got a Demon Edge. I'm assuming that's just going to be MKB. But maybe... No, I don't think they feel pressured enough to go Rapier.
Well, they might after this. They might after this fight.
This is an Aegis push.
Yeah. We might see a Divine here. Flat Cannon being used to... Actually, not even flacking yet. Birds being dropped. Slow attacking. Not really fighting just yet. This tower's going down. Looks like there's not much they could do about it. Hand of God being used, but it is on a 30-second cooldown, so they could actually just wait like 20 seconds and just go back in again.
And there's no reason to back at all, in my opinion. But that was second Roche, right? So the third one is going to have cheese. Yeah. And I think if EP loses a lane here, it's going to be so difficult to...
There is no buyback on Gyro anymore. He's finished his MKB, so this could be it if they lose the fight.
Yeah, this is all in.
Yeah. Here we go. Just focusing on the SF, and obviously SF doesn't care. The Grind and Golem getting in there as well, too.
I mean, Fire Spirits are such a long cooldown. Is it really okay for him to just be throwing them out? I mean, I guess...
It kind of needs to.
You want to kick him out of the base, but I think you just wait for creep waves to use it, right?
No, I think you just have to use it. Okay. Like, you just throw out all your...
Oh, God, Refresher on In July on this push? Oh, my God, this is such a hard push to stop for EP.
Do you... I don't think stacking Iraqs really does anything because they just move on to the next one.
No, yeah, that's just it.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to see a dive. No egg coming out.
Well, it's going to be Iraqs one way or another.
Maybe they get the missile stun here. A blink eats it. That's a 30-second cooldown on the Hand of God, so it's not really a big deal that they popped it there. I mean, those creeps are never going to die. Like, they're just going in with new creep waves, and right now, EP can't do much. Defensive cog used here.
LSA, Dragon Slave. I mean, they are nuking down the wave, and in fact, Dragon Form committed. They are going to go, they got the Frenzy creep, and they're going to get the grind at Golem. They're focusing on the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend does have the Aegis, gets forced that back out, but hey, that's a pretty good defense. Lost, I mean, did end up losing the range racks, but I wonder why they didn't do that much earlier.
I think it was actually a very opportune time because the couple of auto attacks coming out from the Dragon Knight just isolated the Shadow Fiend. Or is that what you mean? That he didn't pop his ult sooner?
Yeah, to kill the Chen creeps and then... Because we've seen all those spells being used multiple times, like the Cogs and the LSAs and Dragon Slaves.
Yeah, that's a little bit surprising. Maybe he just figured if he popped his ulti at a bad time, Wings could just completely disengage.
Yep,
and then wait it out. With no ulti, then you just literally can't fight. Like, the DK ulti is way too important to not have during these engagements, so I can kind of see why he held on to it for as long as he did, but still, right now, Wings in a very good position, keeping Energy Pacemaker inside of their base for a very long time. They do have one smoke left, but that smoke's going to have to do so much. I think you can't even use it until the next Roshan unless they have one coming off cooldown in that time.
Do you feel the next item that Gyro gets is a Divine? If, like, nothing changes from the status quo. Like, I just think that they need more damage. A lot more.
I think maybe just the MKB is enough if Wings don't have Aegis during the team fight. I do believe that they can kill the Shadow Fiend.
Yes.
But I don't know if they can kill both cores, but I think just killing one of them kind of delays the game a bit, and maybe if you get out with your Gyro alive and your DK alive, you can make that trade and then try to go for a later stage in the game where you actually have real damage output on your Gyro. But if Wings secure next Aegis, I actually don't know what EP are going to be able to do to stop them.
Ancient Black Dragon. That creep doesn't have any cool abilities, right? It just flies around.
I mean, it's a dragon. What else do you want it to do?
Breathe fire?
It looks pretty goofy, though, to be honest. Look at them teeth.
It's like a walrus face. It's not a dragon.
Don't flame a dragon. Dragons have feelings, too.
Look at that thing.
Alright, we're getting sidetracked by dragons, but it's okay. It happens to everyone. Oh, wow. Old chicken just TPing back to base.
They should make the dragon like a gambler. You give it gold and get stronger.
I'm so glad you do not balance Dota. I mean, I love you.
This is my, like, you know...
This is the Lumi segment where he just says something totally random.
This is why I love casting these long Chinese games.
Because you can just talk about stuff that's completely ridiculous.
I mean, do you want me to say that Shadow Fiend has the highest net worth? Like, people can see it on the screen.
Alright, that's fair.
Which, by the way, Shadow Fiend, next item should probably be Butter. Even, well, there is an MKB online, but...
He could go AC as well.
Yeah.
I think AC is really nice.
Or you could go back from the Manta he deems it necessary. Which,
yeah, Manta's good for high ground.
Ooh.
Man, Shadow Blade on DK. I really feel like that was 100% necessary. Like, how else are they going to even find kills? Even having the Shadow Blade, though, I feel like it's a little bit weaker against 5-man Dota. Maybe he buys it to try to rat a bit, but...
I don't think it's the Shadow Blade he's buying for. He's buying for the Silver Edge. 40% damage to reduction.
Yeah, he's gonna build it.
Yeah.
You can use it on XTD to disable crit. But
then compare Silver Edge to another damage item around that cost. Like, let's say Daedalus. Is that just...
Well, you also have to consider the fact that if he manages to find Angelai with a break, there's no Kraken, so they can stun lock him to death.
That's true. That's huge, actually.
Yeah, they can just straight up kill him.
Unless he does so much damage with the first hit that...
No, it applies break, I think, before you deal
before
damage.
the damage, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because that would be kind of silly, right?
No, that's absolutely the case. Have you ever... No, it doesn't.
Are you sure?
It doesn't. I remember getting it versus an Enchantress. I was like, fuck this untouchable.
Oh, you couldn't get the first hit
I couldn't get the first hit.
Okay, yeah.
The only thing it works is against evasion, because it specifically says we'll hit evasion.
Oh, chicken going in. He pops a Manta. What is that game sense?
Can they just kill what's the hook? Hook wow? And there's going to be a stun. Can they do enough damage? Yes, they can.
Yeah, he's dead.
That's huge. They bought themselves at least 80 second. And is Roshan coming up?
Okay, was that smoke scouted by a ward mid, or did they smoke high ground?
I'm not sure.
Because they do have wards mid.
I was busy talking about, like, you know, Enchantress
wondering
versus
if
Silver
Dragons
Edge.
could gamble and if Enchantress Silver Edge apply.
I mean, Dragon definitely love gold. Haven't you seen, like, Desolation of Smog?
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I feel so cultured because I watched a movie.
You watched a movie that literally everyone has probably seen.
Yeah, but now I'm in the In Club now.
That
Because I haven't even watched
doesn't
Star
actually
Wars, you know, like, so...
Okay. Alright, that's fair. Now Roshan up here in about a minute.
Oh, by the way, Clockwork never finished his Ogre Club item. He's gone for a Ghost Scepter.
I like that, actually. Because if he hooks, for example, XDD, or he gets Omni'd at all, maybe he just feels if he goes too far in, he's just a guaranteed death, really. So he needs something that's going to make sure that he doesn't just get isolated and just killed straight up. So I do think it's a really solid item.
So what next for Tidehunter? Shiva's Guard? Hex?
Shiva's is really nice. I've always liked Shiva's just because if you do get the first Ravage off, you pretty much guarantee the double Shiva's damage, so long as you do your combo properly. And like, don't give Energy Pacemaker any time between the stuns to actually use their BKBs.
Yep.
But it also gives you a mana pool. As Tidehunter, even with like 4 Staff Arcanes, doesn't really have that much mana.
Well, he has the double regen from the...
Yeah, his sustain is good, but his overall mana pool is still only 1,000.
It's okay, it's respectable. And he is going to become Shiva's.
You know, we said this was going to be a quick series, Lemmy.
I didn't.
Well,
I said 2-0.
Was it Cinder who said it was going to be a fast series?
No, I said 2-0, but
well, curse him.
It's going to be a long 2-0.
No, I kind of figured it would be long too. I mean, yesterday Wings picked Morphling and Spectre in 2 different games, so I kind of assumed that it might have been one of those longer series.
Do you regret, though?
No, I don't regret it at all.
Oh, DK is going to get scouted. It's going to go into Chen. I'm not sure whether they're going to get the kill. Well, the Clockwork is going to go in. They're going to blow everything on Chen, but what a 4-staff. He's back out. DK tanking up in the front line. He's down to about half HP. They're on the run.
BKB's almost out. Double Ravage is available. I really think he'd be able to run
Ravage
here.
on the back line. Well, BKB actually got used on the gyro. DK's coming in. I'm not sure whether he can refresh on the Ravage, but he's just going to get hit by the missile. I think Blink Dagger's still on cooldown for a little bit. Egg just kind of hanging out on the back line. It's a back and forth fight.
Okay, EP actually have to run now because they refresh Ravage. There's no way they can fight this anymore. They have to get out. There's no Supernova. There's no BKBs. Wings not even going to pursue. They're going to try to make Energy Pacemaker fight around Roche because they know that there's no ultis up. This is actually such a good decision from Wings.
Dude, DK form is about to run out too. They just have to back.
Okay, they're getting laser beamed by a chicken.
Well, here comes the second Ravage. It hits just about everybody. Lina gets blown up immediately. Meanwhile, Clockwork, he does have to go separate. He will have to use it right now. Clockwork cooldown hits on everybody. And looks like they're focused on the Tidehunter. Tidehunter does have the armor that he got earlier, flacking off these Ancients. Nobody just dying just yet. Finally, going to go for the Tide. Tide could blink out. I think he blinked like a Reno. He's going to make it home. Meanwhile, Blink Dagger coming in from the Rubik as well. It's just still chaos. And somehow EP is kind of in the fight despite getting 3-man Ravage right in the get-go. Meanwhile, Old Chicken's running right in, and it's going to be a throw into the Requiem. Old Chicken pops the BKB, but will die thanks to the Scotty. Meanwhile, the high ground here, the Phoenix is going to go down as well. Fan will pop the drum and run away. Looks like the clock's going to go down as well. I mean, I'm not sure why they chased so hard.
So the difficult part for EP is they know Roshan is not necessarily a game ender, but it puts Wings in such a good position to be able to take another set of racks. I mean, sure, they only took the range mid, but they can now go mid and another lane on top of that, and it becomes increasingly difficult for Energy Pacemaker to keep themselves in the game. So they bait out the DK's BKB. I actually think that going on Chen, I mean, yeah, I kind of get it. You want to kill the guy who has the pipe and the mech, but nobody else. Yeah, he's so tanky, and nobody else from the team was even there. XCD gonna get it to the face here. Cogs, 4-step out from JDH. Callout's gonna be there as well. Blink doesn't even care. He's just sitting there auto-attacking. He will probably get his Aegis popped here, and he will indeed. There's no Ravage. I think he actually dies again.
Yeah, well, unless he could BKB, but it looks like it's out.
Send home. 4-step away. There's the pipe as well. I think Blink will actually be fine. Okay. Nice save. So Wings now have to go on full retreat. Do they actually have anything to catch out this TP from JDH? They do not.
Clockwork Hook is... Oh, no, it's still dead. Never mind. They will get the Ancients, which is a decent win.
I mean, I really think that XTD just flying up that high ground with no vision, maybe a little bit ballsy.
You don't expect EP to defend like that, right? Because they were so cautious with all the previous defense. And suddenly you walk up the high ground, there's a DK in Dragon form hitting you. In fact, they're going to go the other way, hoping maybe to force out buyback. But regardless, they're going to get a T2. I don't think EP had to use any buyback for that defense either, right?
No, the DK bought back. Okay. When he died around Roshan, old chicken bought back. That was his first death of the game. Holy crap. He hasn't died at all.
Well, there's only 12 to 13, so...
Yeah, okay. Maybe not as impressive. I'm just trying to give the guy some credit. He hasn't died at all. Well, he did die once now.
The credit denier.
No one can do well in Lumi's games.
No. All right, another T2 being claimed. That gold graph's going to reflect, and I think all those tower gold is going to be so beneficial to that gyrocopter because still need them items.
Just keeping the racks alive in general for DP was a gigantic win. This gyro has 6.5k gold. He can buy an entire item off of this. I don't think it's going to be Rapier. Maybe
I don't think they're desperate enough for that Rapier.
Maybe he goes Butterfly still? I mean, the Jug has MKB, but Butterfly is just such a good item in general. Oh no, he's going Satanic.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I think you don't necessarily need to get evasion because if you could ask your supporter to get it for you via solo crest.
Yeah, that's true. And we also are kind of getting to that stage where maybe an Omni Slash doesn't guaranteed kill the gyro anymore, and after the Omni's down, you can just pop Satanic and kind of heal back to full health, right?
Yeah.
Like you just sit there with flat on and you just auto-attack.
Looks like we're going to see perhaps a... Well, that's an...
It was a Scotty orb, right? Like he's buying it for Scotty?
I want to say he had it for the early game.
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he had orb. Maybe he did, but I don't remember him having it.
Yeah, I don't remember him having it either. That's why I was confused.
Is Scotty the item though for Jug?
Makes it much tankier.
I guess he is going kind of a right-click build. Like he bought Manta, he didn't buy Aghanims or anything like that.
Isn't Basher just better?
Oh, Basher I think is better if you already have items that let you close the gap. Like he went Manta, so it's a little bit slower movement speed than having an SNY, and he doesn't have really anything like Mask of Madness to get him close to the gyro, so he's relying on the Tidehunter, I guess, for Ravages. But yeah, I think Basher is also very strong.
Meanwhile, it looks like Lena's working towards an Aghanims, which... Not exactly the game decider, but will be nice against the BKB and the spin.
Oh, absolutely. 975 damage. The Jug only has 2k health. Like, he can die very, very easily. He's built pretty much primarily damage items.
But there's so much heal, though, on Wings.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
They have the no field, the pipe mitigation. They got lots of stuff. A lot of passivity coming out here from Wings. I guess that one failed high ground attempt kind of hurting the morale maybe a bit. I
mean, that's giving more time for EP to actually recur that buyback cooldown.
But EP is not even really pushing either. I think both teams are feeling a little bit, like, not scared, but hesitant to try to go for anything huge. They will get a wolf creep, though.
EP's scared. EP's in their base.
Yeah, well, Wings were kind of standing around for a while, too. Yeah. The thing that's really difficult about playing a lot of late game situations is you don't have nearly the kind of warding that you do during the earlier the mid game. So oftentimes it becomes a lot more difficult for you to make.
And you have less towers giving you vision.
Yeah, you don't have the freedom of making these educated decisions of, oh, well, I see them here, so now I can just deduce that I can do this. It becomes very, very hard, and it is a 52-minute game. So
on that note, it helps the team with the clockwork, giving that little bit of extra vision.
Yeah,
scouting things
to a degree.
Yeah.
They will place one fresh ward here in the jungle of Energy Pacemaker.
There's Shiva's finish on the Tidehunter. Buyback check, because it might come relevant, as Gyro has his. And he's mostly the relevant person for the dire side. I
don't think that EP will be able to force any buybacks from Wings unless Roshan's up. Especially if Wings are the ones pushing in to Energy Pacemaker's space.
Yeah.
It takes way too much time to not only deep push like 2 lanes and be able to get down the lane to Wings' base and try to apply pressure, but smoke up here.
Alright, so I think Cheese was passed towards the Shadow Fiend and Scotty is finish on the Jug. And we'll see whether that Scotty actually pays off. But they're just looking for a quick pick on the K or the gyro. Or just a ravage the whole team, you know, that's cool too.
Yeah, I think the gyro might be more important than the DK.
Oh, he does have the Satanic Clockwork.
Oh man, he's so tanky.
On the front line. Are they looking for a Blink lift, or are they just... Dude, Blink Ravage is going to get everybody right now. They're so close.
Yeah, they can't see though. Alright, in July, time to YOLO. Pop that Shiva's, go in. You got this. Oh, they just smoked.
Okay. And they're going to go to the right.
Are they going to go far enough left to break it?
No, nobody breaking it. Okay, they will see it right now. They hook on the DK, or actually Force Staff on the background. Call down's going to hit just about everybody. I'm not sure exactly what was stolen. DK form being used by Pipe, letting them retreat. DK doing a little bit of harass. BKB has to be used right now. It's actually going into the lion's mouth of that Juggernaut. No only slash is used right now, and the egg's going to be used on the back line. Rabbit's going to hit. It looks like DK is dead on the second TP out. He would not make it home. And double buyback needs to be forced right now. I don't think DK has buyback from that.
No, he doesn't have buyback. That cog actually hurt Energy Pacemaker so unbelievably bad. Like, they wanted to go in, but as soon as he dropped the cog, nobody from EP could follow it up. They're going to force the buyback here from Fan right now. And this is make or break for EP. I think if Wings get even a little bit here, they could go for double racks. Okay, another buyback coming in from Lina. Phoenix trying to do what he can, just dealing a little bit of damage to force XCD back. They do have another Ravage still.
Yep. Not using it just yet, though. He might be using it soon. Flag, I think it's down. It's down for like 20 more seconds. So I think Wings happy with what they got. Double buyback and melee racks. They'll back off for now. Wait out a little bit more.
That was such a tense situation, though. Like, that easily could have been...
Yeah. Could have been it for either side. Unfortunately, TIE Hunter was the one that received the Clockwork Cook. And he's so tanky, he got forced back out.
I still think the cogs, though, like... Fan pop flat cannon. And like, he wanted to go in straight up, like just fight, because there were so many heroes close to each other that they could have dealt an insane amount of damage. But the cogs allowed Wings to retreat, like completely. They just pop pipe, they walk away, they baited out a couple of BKBs, and then Old Chicken just walks up by himself, like, yo, 1v5, no big deal, I got this. And then he just gives away. Yeah, he doesn't even have buyback. Yeah. So I don't know, that was definitely a misplay there from Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, I think in that position, not only did the cogs helped Wings to escape, EP also had to walk up to a high ground situation, right? Because they were on the low ground of that ramp. And I think what happened there was the rocket flare gave them high ground vision momentarily. They're like, okay, let's go. And then suddenly they lost it after it went out, and they were like...
Do you think the flare was down for that long?
No, the flare hit. So they had high ground vision for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as they were, okay, let's go, and then they lost vision. I'm not sure if that's what happened, but like suddenly the team felt like they were lost and didn't know what to do. The egg also didn't do too much of anything because of the pipe. I don't think the stun actually even hit anybody.
The Phoenix, to me, has not really even done a thing this game. Like, sure, he's only died twice. It's not to say that the play is the problem. It's more like...
The hero?
In every single situation, the Chen just totally deletes the Phoenix from the fight, right? Like, just having the no field and the pipe, just between those two things, it's 30% more magic resistance. And then you also have the active on the pipe, which is 400 mitigation, and you have Glimmer Cape on Rubik now as well. So there's never really a time where Energy Pacemaker can deal a large enough amount of AoE damage, which I feel they're heavily reliant on as a team. Yeah. Like, you don't pick Gyro and Phoenix and DK to not have a good amount of AoE. It's just not enough at this point.
Okay, what about this, right? If DK goes in, Old Chicken tanks it up. Phoenix jumps in, Ag ults, pick up the DK. Clockwork
does he have an Aghanims? I don't think he does.
Well, that's the next step.
I guess so. I don't know, man. That's still super risk play. I guess if you had a Blink Dagger and Aghanims, you could potentially save. And then maybe try to force another like reinitiation or something, but it's pretty clowny. Smoke up here from Energy Pacemaker. Roche is up in about 20 seconds. Wings currently residing on EP's woods. I'm sure they will make their way towards that pit momentarily, as they have to know that Roshan's going to be spawning soon.
You know that one thing we didn't talk about earlier is that when Juggernaut ran up the mid-ramp and died immediately, what happened was Clockwork also dropped the cog, and Juggernaut just can't attack. Because all the Dire here was inside the cogs. They could attack out, and Juggernaut could not attack in. So the cogs has been kind of pretty pivotal this game. Roshan trying to get sneaked. Well, Ancient's going to scout it out.
Anymore.
Well, they're now kind of stuck. Rabbit's going to hit, and the Egg's going to be on the high ground. Second Rabbit's going to come through. They got to heal their heroes. Can he pop the BKB? No, he cannot, so no Satanic. And meanwhile, the Dragon Knight's trying to fight. There is no more buyback on that Gyrocopter. On the low ground, they're throwing everything on the Shadow Beam. The Shadow Beam's so tanky, though. That's going to be it. GG called an Energy Pacemaker. drops game 1.
So I gotta say, I didn't really have full faith in Wings' draft this game. I will admit it. I thought that it would have been very difficult for them to win, but they went with the age-old strategy of just making it so you couldn't actually farm anywhere because of just constant pressure. And here comes in July. In my opinion, really solid performance out of him in general. He gets Fan killed before he's even able to pop BKB or Satanic. The focus fire from Wings in this Roshan fight being pivotal in taking the game.
Yeah, and normally when you play